Good evening. I'd like to call this evening's Board of Selectmen meeting Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024 to order. First order of business will be to say the Pledge of Allegiance, if you can all rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I do want to let everybody know that this Board of Selectmen meeting is being recorded and it is televised on live on Northern Berkshire Community Television, channel 1303. Is there anybody else that will be recording this evening's meeting? Thank you, Tammy, for my Berkshires will be recording tonight. At this point, I'd like to welcome and congratulate Ann Bartlett to the table. Thank you. And now on to the reorganization of the Board of Selectmen. I will now call for nominations for chairperson.
I would like to nominate John Duvall to serve as chairman.
I'll second it.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I will call for a vote. Or, wait, do I? Can I ask for a vote?
Sure. Yeah. Right? Or does she need an official motion? Was my motion?
Yeah.
Or you wanted a motion?
Can we have a motion? A motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint John Duvall as chairman.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Member Novak. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody abstaining?
I'll abstain.
And no abstentions. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And thank you, that was well done. You should be sitting over here. No?
Thank you, Louis.
I want to thank the board for their confidence in nominating and electing me as chair for the next year. Next on the agenda this evening is nomination and election of vice chairman. Do we have any nominations for vice chair? I'll make a motion to nominate Christine Hoyt as vice chair.
I'll second.
Do we have a second by Ann? Any discussion or any other nominations? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Opposed?
One opposed? Any abstentions? We have one abstention. Okay, congratulations.
Thanks. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We have one set this evening, two on the agenda. The first one, April 17th, 2024 meeting minutes. We do have those. They're in your packet. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to waive the reading on the minutes and approve them as submitted for Wednesday, April 17th, 2024.
We have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second? I'll second. Any discussions, omissions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain because I just get these meeting minutes the day before a meeting, and it's a lot to try to digest, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay,
I will abstain because this was done before I became a selectman.
okay, understood. So do you have that? Two abstentions? Okay. The approval of minutes, item B, May 1st, 2024, are not ready for this evening, but they will be at the next meeting, which will be the third meeting. Public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the Board of Selectmen with any item that is not on this evening's agenda? Yes, sir. Will you please come up to the podium, state your name and your address?
Eddie Wodarski, 61 East Hoosick Street. I came here last month about my road, the guardrails. That road is so bad with potholes, and for you being new here, and I've been going through this for over 2.5 years with Mr. Green and Tim, our town supervisor, and I get ignored. They don't call me back, or if they find out it's me on the phone, they won't answer. And it's been over 2.5 years, and I've had it up to here. I came here last week to explain my situation, and nothing's being done. And I want an answer today. I'm not fooling around no more, Mr. Green.
Don't address your comments to
I'm
the
not
chair.
fooling around anymore,
Understood?
all right? I mean, I brought it in front of you people last month. Have you discussed anything? Has anything come up?
Now, do you remember the discussion that you and I had?
Yeah, but I've never heard anything back. Nobody gets back to
The
me.
discussion that you and I had was that we are going to wait for Mr. Coda to return. He is off on medical leave. He'll be back the beginning of June. So as soon as Mr. Coda returns, we will reach out to you and have a discussion in regards to the, your road and what's the other subject?
Guardrails.
Guardrails. So you and I had that discussion.
Who makes the decision? The
Well,
board, the board or him?
When Mr. Coda returns, we'll have that discussion with you, and then we'll see where we go from there. But we need to wait till he gets back.
I've discussed it, I tried to discuss it
understand.
for 2.5 years with Mr. Green and Tim.
Well, I understand,
Where's
but,
it got me?
okay.
Where's it got me?
So we will reach out to you when Mr. Coda returns in the
No,
first
I'm not.
week, second week of June.
You know, it took me 1.5 miles to walk down here in this heat, and I don't get anywhere. And I just got one more thing I'd like to say, and you know, I do a lot of walking in this town.
Yes.
And I see what goes on. There was a wooden horse on Spring Street, when you come by the old corner lunch and walk down that bridge. That horse was there for over a year. I walked there today, the horse is gone. There's nothing done with the sidewalk. Why was the horse there for over a year? Why wasn't it patched, the sidewalk? Why leave a horse there for a year?
I have to look into it.
Then you got on Valley Street, on the bottom, there's a big orange bucket. The manhole's halfway down. I mean, a kid could walk there and fall in. Nothing's being done.
Point taken. No, there's a lot being done, but
Where?
look into your issues.
Where? The roads are terrible.
Yeah. So we will get back to you the first, second week of June, and we will, first or second week of June, when Mr. Coda returns.
You need my telephone number?
I know where you live.
Yeah, I know where you live.
I know you do. So we will have that discussion, and we will re-engage again,
Well,
okay?
I'm just hoping something's gonna be done. I mean, a car goes through there, you only can go 2 miles an hour. The road is so bad.
Yeah, I've seen
Never
that.
had this problem till this regime come in. Before that, the road was always taken care of.
All right, we'll talk the first, second week of June when Mr. Coda returns.
Well, I hope
I'd
it's to my satisfaction.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment. I'm all for you, because last I knew, it was months and months ago, the guardrails were cut. I have an email stating that the guardrails were cut. Cut, but never put up. And I've come to the realization as a selectman, the best thing I can do is to stick up for the common folk in this town, because they're being stretched.
Oh, yeah. I
And-
appreciate it very much, Joe.
Yep, and I've known you for a long time, Ed.
Yes, we have.
Yep, and it's just not fair for someone who's lived in this town their whole life to be treated in that respect. And it's just not right. Either tell the guy, no, we're not gonna do it, or do it. And that's all I have to say.
Got it. So there's no deliberation during public comment. We will be there the first, second week of June.
And the only thing,
Starts with you.
last comment I'm gonna make, if it's a no,
Keep it clean?
if it's no, I'm very polite.
I know.
I'll be getting a hold of my state representative, the safety commission, and talk to someone in the Berkshire Eagle. I mean, I've had it for almost 3 years.
Understood.
This runaround. Nobody should go through that. Nobody in here. Nobody in the town of Adams should go what I went through for almost 3 years.
Understood.
Why?
You made your point. We've heard it last week, we've heard it this week. We still need to wait for Mr. Carter to return so we get all the
I don't
information.
hear anything, you're gonna hear it the next meeting.
Now, you know, Eddie, you know me. I'll be up there.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the Board of Selectmen? Anything that is not on the agenda this evening? Yes, please state your name and your address, please. Thank you.
Dave Bazillion, 9 Townview Lane. Tonight I come here representing the Adams Theater Presents Board. I proudly sit on that board. And number one, I want to thank the town for its support of everything that Ina Moore has done to date in terms of the theater, the project, the renovation, the limited programming, and now what will be the beginning of a full 40 event schedule starting this weekend. Again, it can't be stated enough how important this theater is to this town, and it's a true partnership. It's Ina and her family's money. It's grants and town support. And I also want to mention how proud I am that we recently raised $50,000 privately from local families, local businesses who believe in what that project is and what it will do for all of us here in town. And it's really, really exciting. And, you know, and there's challenges in town, but when things are good, we also have to acknowledge them. And I certainly want to welcome everybody this weekend. There's a concert on Friday night, there's a comedian on Sunday night, and there's a full schedule of a variety of events that are going to take place all summer. And I know that Ina and our board and residents and contractors and volunteers, many have contributed to the realization of bringing this theater space back to life. And honestly, we should all take pride in that. And so I just wanted to step up here for 1 minute tonight, just to thank everybody and to hopefully see you at the shows. Last weekend when the Bart School did their school production of The Addams Family for 3 nights, it was great to see traffic on Park Street. And so, again, there's a lot of good things happening in Adams, and we have to celebrate those things. And they'll continue to happen, and they will impact everybody in town. So just want to say thank you and hope to see you this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Well said. Anyone else who would like to address the board? All right, seeing none, we'll move along on the agenda. Under old business, there's an invitation from the American Legion for the Board of Selectmen to participate in Memorial Day Parade, which is Monday, May 27th at 10 a.m. Town Administrator Green, do you have any additional information? In case it rains, we do have a,
Memorial Building.
okay. So if it does rain on Monday for Memorial Day, we do have a place to go, and it will be Memorial School in the gym. Okay? I think the last time we went to the firehouse, it's going to be in which they have requested, it will be in the Memorial Gym if it does rain. And we hope to see everyone out. Anything else on that? Okay, old business B, town meeting workshop reminder, Wednesday, May 29th at 6 PM in Board of Selectmen room. Mr. Green?
We'll have a town meeting workshop. Haley will participate. Myra may be here if she's available. We'll be available to answer any questions ahead of time. Crystal's working on a slideshow consistent with what we've done in the past, so this is an opportunity to show up, ask us any questions. New members are strongly encouraged to participate, so they understand the process of town meeting. We've done it before. We've had some good turnout, but all your questions can be answered ahead of time, so you know what you're going to hear on town meeting night.
Any questions from the board?
Just a comment that I know the town clerk had emailed the town meeting members, letting them know about the workshop and a reminder of town meeting, and that the Finance Committee report would be in people's mailboxes. I did receive mine today, so people should be getting them.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, that's it for old business. On the new business, we have several licensing requests. We'll take these one at a time. There's a one-day wine and malt liquor license, Berkshire Catering Company, Saturday, May 25th, from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street in Adams, and I believe the correct word is a hoedown. So it sounds like a lot of fun, and it's a fundraiser, so hopefully everyone will do what they can to participate. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Berkshire Catering Company for Saturday, May 25th, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bow Field for the hoedown hosted by Poppy's Concessions.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ann. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous decision. Item 2, a one-day wine and malt license, Berkshire Catering Company, Sunday, May 26th, from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street in Adams, Mass. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Berkshire Catering Company for Sunday, May 26th, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bow Field for the hoedown presented by Poppy's Concessions.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Ann. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Unanimous decision. And the final one, which is for May 27th, a one-day wine and malt license for Berkshire Catering Company. Monday, May 27th, from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia in Adams.
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Berkshire Catering Company for Monday, May 27th, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bow Field for the hoedown hosted by Poppy's Concessions.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ann. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Abstentions? None. Unanimous decision. The next three items are related to the Zerbini Circus. And the item number 4, a one-day public entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus on Friday, July 26th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field, same address, Adams, Mass.
Can I ask if we could take these 3 items up after item C under new business? Item C is the facility use request for the circus, and maybe we should approve that before we approve any entertainment licenses.
Whatever.
If that makes sense
board's
to the rest of the board?
pleasure is.
To just hold off on Roman numeral 4, 5, and 6 until new business C. If
Board's okay? All right, holding off on items 4, 5, and 6 under new business A, licensing requests. Any other requests like that? Are we good?
I think that's okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Rob? All right, so we are on item 7, correct? Sunday entertainment license,
Yeah.
the Adams Street Fair Committee for Adams Street Fair, Sunday, July 14th, 2024, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., with a rain date of Sunday, July 21st, 2024, from 12 to 6.
I'll make a motion to approve the Sunday entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair Committee for the Adams Street Fair to be held on Sunday, July 14th, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the live entertainment, with a rain date of July 21st, 2024, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ann. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, unanimous decision. The next two are common vic applications. The first one is for the Rainbow Shack, 85 Summer Street in Adams.
I'll make a motion to give a common victicular application to the Rainbow Shack on 85 Summer Street in the town of Adams.
We have a motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous decision. The next item, which is 9, has been withdrawn. So no action will be taken on item A9. Next, we have under B, application to place signs on a public way, Poppy's Concessions. And this is in regards to, as we approved previously, the hoedown. And we've had these similar requests for events throughout the year.
We'll make a motion to approve the application from Poppy's Concessions to place signs on a public way in coordination with the town administrator's office for the Hilltown hoedown, sorry.
Oh, that's good. We have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ann. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none? Unanimous decision. And now, item C, which is going to, well, we're going to do this one first. Under new business licensing requests, we have this is a facility use request, item C. Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus, Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street, Adams, Mass. For July 26th through July 28th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the request for the facility use for the Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street, Adams, Mass. For June 26th through July 26th through July 28th of 2024.
We have a motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to say I'm very happy to see that the agricultural fairgrounds Bow Field, is being used in the manner that it is. I think we're very short in this community of fields of that type to put these type of entertainments on.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, no abstentions, unanimous decision. And now, we must go back.
Sorry. That was my oversight when I signed off on the agenda, that I didn't help put those in order. So my apologies, Bree.
No worries, we're good. So we're going back, want to make sure now, we're going back to 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Item 4, we have a one-day public entertainment license. The Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus on Friday, July 26th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street, Adams, Mass.
I will make a motion to approve the one-day public entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair Committee to hold the Zerbini Circus on Friday, July 26th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ann. Any discussion?
I just wanted to point out, I think that they've indicated it as a circus under the big top. And there are several different shows. It's 3 days and it's 5 shows. So it's why the timing is a little bit longer on the license. But it looks like these are 90-minute shows when they are happening. So I just wanted to state that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, none, unanimous decision. Item 5, one-day public entertainment license, Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus on Saturday, July 27th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street, Adams, Mass.
I'll make a motion to pass the one-day public entertainment license for Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus on Saturday, July 27th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field in Adams.
We have a motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous decision. And I believe the last licensing request under new business A is item 6. Sunday entertainment license, Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus on Sunday, July 28th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field, 317 Old Columbia Street, Adams, Mass.
I'll make a motion for the Sunday entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair Committee for Zerbini Circus on Sunday, July 28th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Bow Field in Adams.
We have a motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? None? Unanimous decision. All right.
Letter D.
Thank you. Letter D. We have 4 ratifications for seasonal laborers for the summer. Again, we do this every year about this time.
We're late.
We're late. So the first one, we'll go through the 4. Ratification of Michael Durant as seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works.
I'd like to put forth a motion to ratify the appointment of Michael Durant as a seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ann. Any discussion?
Just that the rate of pay is $18 an hour.
Jay, do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
Nope, Mike's back with us. Mike's known for taking care of Maple Street Cemetery. He does a great job.
And I'd like to say I'm very appreciative of the raise that we gave last year to these employees instead of minimum wage.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous decision. Item E, ratification of Sean Marco as seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works.
I'll make a motion for the ratification of Sean Marco as seasonal labor with the Department of Public Works.
We have a motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? No abstentions? Unanimous decision. Third, out of 4, ratification of Steve Scrocky as seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works.
I'll put forth a motion to ratify Stephen Scrocky as seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works.
We have a motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ann. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous decision. And finally, the ratification of Jenna Harding as seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works.
I'll make a motion to ratify the appointment of Jenna Harding as seasonal labor with the Department of Public Works at a rate of $18 an hour.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ann, any discussion?
Yes, I would just like to ask, as I always do, is Jenna from Adams?
I don't know where she resides.
Did you
Know
work?
where she resides?
I don't.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm just going to abstain.
And one abstention. And continuing under new business, under H, Park Street resurfacing and Columbia Street sidewalk repair project update. Amen. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You gonna start, Jay, or?
No, Eamon's going to jump right in.
So I'm excited to announce that our Park Street improvement project will begin very, very soon. Just a little background for the board on this, because it's been a long time. We've been working on this for a while. This project is basically two smaller projects cobbled together. The first aspect is the repaving of Park Street, basically from the rail trail crossing north to East Maple Street. It's about 1,100 feet. We originally, about a year ago, looked at this project as a partial depth reclamation type resurfacing, which is fairly deep profile, which was a little bit costly. And then the second aspect of the project is the reconstruction of or curb ramps at 7 areas along Columbia Street, from Valley Street up to Burt Street. So that project is funded through a shared streets grant, which we received 2 years ago from Mass DOT. So those two projects, the curb ramp work on Columbia Street and then the Park Street repaving, have been combined into one project. We bid this we bid this in the fall and received 2 bids from Reifenberg and Maximilian. And at that point in time, when we got bids back, the project cost estimate was about $1 million, which was beyond our means to fund. We didn't have enough Chapter 90 funds, so we went back to the drawing board. We looked at the repaving as a mill and fill, a 2.5-inch depth mill and fill as opposed to 6-inch depth to reduce costs. We talked to DPW about their involvement in the project, and they were willing to take on some removal of trolley track on Park Street to help reduce costs and also reduce risk to a potential contractor. And then we also made some very, very minor changes to the work on Columbia Street. So when we received bids back this time, the project was a lot less expensive, and we were able to accommodate it. So we received 2 bids, one from Maximilian again and Reifenberg again. We've accepted Maximilian's bid at a cost of $433,695, which was below our construction estimate of $438,000 for the project, which is great. It's very rare that these projects come in under what our engineers estimate them at. So we received 2 very, very competitive bids. I will note briefly, this was a very odd bidding process in that Reifenberg was actually the apparent low bidder for the project. However, when we reviewed their bids, there was a lot of missing unit price information. We sent all these materials to the AGO's construction bid unit office, and the AGO's office advised that we basically reject Reifenberg's bid and go with Maximilian's. So, but fortunately, the 2 bids were very, very close in price. Reifenberg's was $419,000. Again, Maximilian's was $433,000, so very close in price, a difference of only $14,000. And both organizations are very well qualified to work on this type of work. So we awarded the project to Maximilian. So again, I'm excited to announce that this project is starting up soon. We had a kickoff meeting late last week. Maximilian will be out starting on the curb ramp work on Columbia Street next week, and they'll be using Memorial School as a staging area for both the Park Street and Columbia Street work. We do not have a date set yet for when the Park Street repaving work will begin. That is going to be contingent on DPW first getting out to remove some of that track, old trolley track on Park Street. So we're sort of dependent on their schedule. But as soon as I know, I will report back to the board, and I'll also post information on social media and on the website to let the community at large know when that Park Street work will begin. So in terms of impacts to Park Street and its businesses, the repaving on Park Street is only going to take 2 days, 48 hours, in which there will be no parking along the entirety of Park Street, basically from the rail trail up to East Maple Street. So for 48-hour period, there'll be no parking. Maximilian has told us that it'll take 1 day to mill the entire road and 1 day to come back and repave. And then another 2 days to do some restriping, but during the restriping, parking and will be allowed, and then the road will be drivable at that point. As far as the work, additionally, I'll mention during that 2 day period there will be a detour. The detour will be for northbound traffic, which will be along Myrtle, Pleasant, and Depot Street. Southbound traffic will be able to remain right on Park Street. So a very brief construction window, hopefully very minimal disruption to businesses. I also plan on trying to get the word out to businesses later this week and talk to folks and let them know what's going to happen. As far as the work on Columbia Street, it should be very minimally disruptive. The work is on the sidewalk, so should be no impacts to traffic. And Maximilian has told us they think that'll take about 2 days per location, so about 14 working days or about 3 weeks to complete. So this is a pretty short project for everyone involved. Just a note about funding sources for this. As I said, we received a shared streets grant that was about $190,000. That will fund the work on Columbia Street. At last year's annual town meeting, $100,000 was appropriated for the project, and then Chapter 90 will make up the difference. So about $143,000 will need to come out of Chapter 90 to fund mostly the Park Street portion of this project.
Okay, thank you, Eamon. I'll just go down the row here. Christine, any questions?
Eamon, I know you probably don't know this at this time, but, days of the week, or if it's daytime, evening, all of the hours, like I know that you still have to put together that schedule, but do you have an idea or an educated guess as to what the hours of paving and all of that would be? And
I think that they've told us, it's mostly during work will occur mostly during the day.
Okay.
They did tell us that to try to speed things along, they would like to work into the evening a little bit. Okay. And I think I mentioned too, we are targeting mid-June for the repaving aspect of this. But again, that might have to shift a little bit. I also will mention too, as part of the project, there will be 2 electronic message boards at either end of, one down by Memorial School and then one down on Commercial Street that will have information about any detour, and also we'll just have updates about the project in general.
okay. I mention it because I know the public meeting that was held in the fall, we had a couple of businesses on Park Street who attended, who have evening hours that they're open, and like Wednesday through Friday were their busier days and evening hours. So, if there was a way to maybe shift that to Monday, Tuesday. I mean, you might get other feedback. There's
Yep.
different
Yeah, I'll
businesses on
talk
Park
to-
Street now. But just taking that into consideration.
Yeah, I will relay that information to Maximilian and see what they can accommodate.
You probably still have the notes from fall meeting as well, but thanks.
Okay, Ann, any questions?
No.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Park Street being done, but I think we'll be in the same place in about 3 more years with just the depth we're going down. we're gonna get the re-entrance of all the trailer truck ruts in time, because the base probably is perhaps not deep enough to accommodate that. And when I see this gonna take 2 days, that's what a paving group does. They come and they go, they have everything ready. So I'm happy to see it done, but I think the money we're spending, we're gonna be back in the same situation in a relatively short time. But I'm happy that it's getting done, because it certainly needs it. And that's, people come down, you know, downtown and come through Park Street, and it has to be a good road.
Well, I will say, you know, we have been told we will get more than 2 or 3 years. We hopefully get 5+ years out of the road.
Okay?
And that will give time for the town to hopefully put away some money for a more involved and longer lasting paving project on the road, and hopefully one that extends beyond the current limits of the project. You know, we know that basically from the rail trail up to the rotary needs to be addressed at some point, so.
Okay, thank you.
So wait a minute, can we go back and look at the previous project and some reasoning in regards to the issues we have today? The road is, you know, what the tires are for the trucks is sinking. We can see the old trolley train tracks and some of the brick from the old roads we've had here. How do we get here? I know you weren't here at the time, but do you have historical information on that?
You mean, how did we get to
To the point where we had a major project 10 years ago, I believe, on Park Street, totally redone, and now we're back again to mill and fill.
Well, one of the things we learned as part of the design process for this, the VHB did take core samples. And so one of the things we learned is that Park Street is I don't know how to describe it. It's
It's a mix, it's a stew.
yes, there's a lot of things going on, including there's layers of brick, there's layers of mud and silt, there's old trolley line, old roadway that have just been built on top of each other over the years. And so that's, you know, that mix of different materials is what's causing that shifting. Unfortunately, though, you know, like I said, the cost, when we bid this back out in the fall, the prices we got were around $1 million. We do not have that money in that amount of funding in Chapter 90, and we're not able to fund the project that way. And so unfortunately, it's just, you know, we have to make it's just a balancing act in terms of funding. So at some point, I think the town will need to address how we fund these kind of bigger capital projects and try to come up with a way to supplement funding of them, separate from Chapter 90 or in addition to Chapter 90. But that's a longer and more involved discussion that we can get into today.
Understood. Just to bring everyone back up to speed, the last question I have is, I thought we found like more catacombs and openings underneath the road that previously we were not aware about. I know the power goes under the road, all the wires go under the road, it's because the street lights, we don't have the lights, the wiring above, but I know, like we found on Valley Street at the bottom, there was, as you know, right, there was places where people used to go for the town, whoever it was, but there's openings down there, and nobody go down there, but there's openings, and I was wondering if that also enhances the road sinking a bit when all this is adding on top of all this area that is open room, let's say, for example.
Well, I'm not aware of that in the Park Street area. As I said before, it's because it's just a mix of different layers of roadway construction with mud and silt all between them. But yeah, I'm not aware of any catacombs or utility on Park Street, at least. I don't think any of that was found during the.
Worst end of the road is the southern end here. And it gets progressively better as you work your way north. One of the reasons why we think this end has problems is because the trolley tracks had to cross the Boston and Albany rail line at grade, which is why you see them popping up. versus why you don't see them the further north that you go. We believe the soil is more, the underlayment is more stable on this northerly end, but is far less down here, which is why we had also attempted to try to do more work down here in depth, full depth reconstruction down here, and we still couldn't do that. So what you're referring to, John, is the utility chases, some of the smaller vaults are on the eastern side of Park Street. So all the utility lines, Verizon, anything that's underground is on the eastern side of Park Street. Water District as well runs their lines on the eastern side. So that's the section that's got some of that utilities, but above it it's okay. So there's about 13, I think it's 13,000, Eamon, cars a day. Does that figure still hold?
Yeah, 13,000 on
Yeah.
your gate, yeah.
And many trucks.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and a big chunk of that is truck traffic.
Right.
I can't remember the exact percentage, but I can find it out.
Okay. So there'll be a lot of discussion of catacombs coming up
Yeah.
in their future. We may hear that next meeting.
Yes.
Medieval times.
Are there any other questions or anything else, Eamon, that you would like to add? Anybody from the audience? Yeah, you could please come up and state your name and, sorry.
Myra Wilk, and Eamon, I'm just trying to get a timeline with town meeting on June 3rd, and you talked about staging equipment down at Memorial. Is that going to conflict at all, or is that?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
They're, like I said, they're only going to take, should only be a few weeks there, and it's mostly for the Columbia Street work, I think.
Okay.
Harding Street lot
Oh, okay.
and the
On
basketball
the other
lot.
side.
Other
Nothing-
side? No.
Nothing
Okay.
in the.
Thank you.
Okay, I think the board's good. Thank you, Eamon. Good report.
I just have one more thought.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm not sure if it's the beginning of Park Street or the end of Columbia Street, but near the Adams Community Bank, there's a culvert that goes there. It's a rock one. I think it's still pretty good, but what's happening is they're filling up, and the amount of water that can go through is increasingly becoming less, because once again, I brought this term up, the hydrological head stops and siltation builds up. If you go and look at the visitor center parking lot where the cast iron or the pipe comes up, that's halfway full already. And when I was on the Conservation Commission, Jimmy Vassal and a few of us wanted to open it up to sunlight it where it comes out so that you know, just through aesthetics. And it was hard to do, but we got it through. And I also brought up during that time to put an outlet, like an open square, where if the water came up too high, it would have an ability to come out, and that played out well, because one time there was a raging storm, and instead of flooding the bank building, the water came up through that hole. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed in this community, because we're valley and all of our streams are coming off the mountains, and they reach the bottom, and all of a sudden they just have nowhere to go, and there's a lot of what I call like spits where it settles down and there's, you know, a lot of sand. And so I don't know how you do it, but that's something that needs to be addressed.
Okay, well, thank you. That's news to me. I wasn't aware of that issue in that culvert, but,
Yeah. If you have time, just go look down.
yeah, I'd like to look at it and see it.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about it from there.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe, John, you were on there, and, well, Rick isn't here tonight, that Mark Harrington walked in that one, and he, you know, he was quite short, and he went in there and he looked at it, and he said kind of the same thing. It looks structurally sound, but it's filling up.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Eamon, thank you. We're looking forward to this project.
Thanks, yeah. Thank you. And I'll keep everyone updated as things progress.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, the final item under new business is set fiscal year 2025 transfer station fees. Town Administrator Green.
Thank you. This is the time of year where we ask the board to take a look at how the transfer station performed in fiscal '24, and take a look at what the finances might look like for fiscal '25. The driving factor, of course, for the transfer station is the cost of removal of the materials. That would be the municipal solid waste, or MSW, the commingle, which are your glasses, your plastic, and your paper. We had to project the months of May and June because we didn't have actuals, but projected for total cost for facility operation in fiscal '24, again, estimated is about $81,000. The removal costs alone are about $71,000. And the attendant labor cost up there is $10,000 for this year. For revenue purposes, we've brought in 564 user permits at $100, which raised $56,400. 89 replacement or additional permits at $10, which brought in $890. 7,690 bag tags at $1.60 each raised $12,304 for a grand total of fiscal year '24 revenue from permit sales and bag tags alone of $69,594. I'll just pause there for a moment, doing a quick fiscal '23 comparison. We had sold 590 user permits, 77 additional permits, and we had sold 12,895 bag tags. It's that bag tag drop from 12,895 to 7,690 that was a significant hit for the transfer station operation this year. When you add in the miscellaneous revenue, that would be the scrap container that gets sold for scrap, clothing, CMRK. The board approved that agreement several years ago now. We have those blue dumpster containers spread around town. That has now increased, so we were able to bring in some money there. And tires, so our miscellaneous revenue was $5,529 for a total revenue, revolving fund revenue of $75,123.57. So if you look at that number as being the estimated cost being $80,982, bringing in the revenue $75,000, we're close, but we're not there making it 100% cost effective. The revolving fund is able to absorb that at this time, but if that gap gets larger, we won't be able to do it. In looking at the fiscal '25 projections, Casella Waste, which is managed by the Northern Berkshire Solid Waste Management District, does a job of trying to contain those costs for us. The cost to remove the municipal solid waste, that is the trash, is going up this year 6.1%, from a cost of $110 to $116 a ton. Every time one of those big containers is removed from the transfer station facility, there's a cost to do that. That's a flat cost. That's going up 2.5% from $397 to $406. And the recycling processing costs are a little bit more complicated to figure out or project, and that's because those costs fluctuate with the average market value of the commodity. So we took Linda gave us Linda Cernick, the NBSW Executive Director. She gave us the average, and that's $135 a ton to remove that material. That's what we use to do the math. That's on the very liberal side, assuming it doesn't go up. Worst case scenario is $170 a ton, which is the top end limit by the contract. And this is the last year of the Casella 5-year contract, which means Northern Berkshire Solid Waste Management District will have to go back and renegotiate it with Casella or another vendor after next year. So our options for this year are to leave them alone. If we do that and we deplete what's in the revolving fund because of the increase in cost of Casella, we would go back into the town transfer station budget. There's $25,000 in there that have been historically in there by the town in order to make up for no funds in the revolving fund. In recent years, we haven't had to hit it because the board's been able to keep up with the permit fees and the bag tag fees. We'd like to do that. We'd like it get to the point where we could remove it or spend it on other items, but it's still in there for now. The treasurer collector, Kelly Rice, Kelly disappeared? She was here, okay. Kelly and I, we had a chat, Chrissy and Kelly in that office, and George too, they hear a lot from people going to those windows, buying transfer station permits and bag tags. So we use Kelly in order to get a sense of what the sales look like and the feedback that she gets. So we were able to work up this year a recommendation to only increase the user permit fee from $100 to $125. If the total number of users stays the same at 564, and that's hard to predict, as I said, we lost about 30 over the last year, we'd bring in $70,500. If we leave the bag tag cost alone at $1.60, which is, we can do that, and the same number of bags are sold, if not more, then we would bring in $12,304. There's no way to predict who would need a replacement tag or any additional tags, and we would bring in $82,804. The estimated costs for fiscal '25, using fiscal year '24 data, the tonnage data that we have, that we actually know our town, our community generated, and we had to pay to remove, if those numbers stay the same, and generally over year to year they do, we would spend approximately $81,443, or $11,000 more, in order to remove that material, using the transfer station attendant cost at $18 an hour for 638 hours annually. That's the normal hours that the transfer station's open on the Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday evening schedule. Our total projected cost estimated would be $91,400, and that gap would still be within that $5,000 range that we've had success, with. That would be the minimum recommendation to adjust for this year. Kelly and I and Chrissy, we also chatted, and we thought at this point too, that although in the past, with your permit, your residential permit, we've issued one sheet of 5 tags, this year we'll give 3 sheets of bag tags, or 15 tags with your initial permit, cost of $125. That option reduces the gap in hauling fee by approximately $14,000. The gap would be projected, if we did nothing, to be about $20,000. There's other associated costs with the transfer station, such as the porta potty cost up there, the compactors rental, that's baked into the MSW invoices that you see on the spreadsheet. Engineering costs are paid out of the town budget, transfer station budget, but that's the heart of the cost of running that transfer station. It's always important to remind everybody that the transfer station is not free, and it is not substantially paid for with the tax levy. It is paid for by those folks who use it. We did do a little bit of a comparison. People love to ask about what's Cheshire doing. So Cheshire announced that their transfer station this year, and I don't know what services they offer, but their permit fee will be only for recycling $125, and their full use permits $175, with 155 bags issued to those folks. But we don't see an option for them to buy other bags. North Adams hasn't announced this year's rates yet, but as of last year, a non-resident permit was $100 to use the North Adams facility. That facility works differently than Adams. The way that North Adams works is, if you receive a non-resident permit, you can use their facility. You have to go over the scale, and that scale is a minimum charge of $10. So whether you have $8 or $9 or $5 worth of trash, you have a $10 minimum fee with it. Or you can buy the colored City of North Adams trash bags to use, and those are $3 a piece, and those are last year's. So when you do all of that math, the transfer station still remains competitive, the way that we're able to operate it. And if, I believe, talking to some folks around here that have the private haulers, those private haulers are anywhere from $500 to $600 a year for curbside pickup.
Jay, thank you for Cheshire, which is correct. You
Go ahead.
No bags.
No bags at all.
Tags.
The tags, thank you.
Based on the size of your bag, you use anywhere from 1 to 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I use, big 50-gallon ones.
How many tags is that?
That's 5.
5?
But I can put in, it economically works out.
Okay.
Because you can put more bags in, so it's a
Yep.
tag. So, and no bags in Chester,
Okay.
that's 3-4 years.
Thank you, Peter. Now I know, you know, so I'm gonna call you out now.
You good?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Christine?
I don't really have any questions. Well, the attendant, what was the hourly rate last year?
I wanna say it was 15.
With all of the other, like the seasonal and so forth?
Seasonal labor in the
That's
transfer station.
a cost.
Mhm.
Okay.
$14 increase.
So it was the attendant cost and then the material removal and all the other things. Okay. I'm okay. Thanks.
Ann?
I have no questions, but I'm going to say, if we could get, as a board, more timely delivery of all this paperwork, because this only came in this morning when I came, well, I could have got it late yesterday, but I couldn't. I agree with Joe, we need maybe like on a Friday before we're gonna have a meeting, be the last time that we get any kind of information, so we can look at it and study it. And I think it would be beneficial for all of us.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, all I have to say is, we're at the whim of Casella. There's certainly not going to be any other contractor that's going to come to this area and do what Casella's doing, because they're trying to create a monopoly, and they're a very big company. They're all over the country. So basically, we're at their whim when the next contract comes. So I would suggest personally that, start talking to other communities that use Casella and try to, band together to get your best possible deal you can from them, because they can ask really what they want, and people have really no choice. They're the only ones that will have the ability to do what they're asked to do. So I think, that's where I get down on it. And also recycling, as we well know, plastics are, it's great, but it's been almost too successful. There's really not a great market for plastics anymore, although they're beginning to find other uses for it. Also, I just think that, you say just $25, and, I think, to my thinking, our landfill is pretty much like a social outlet for people. A lot of people like to go up there and, talk and see what's going on, and that part of it I like. But once again, I have to agree that, in order for us to be solvent with this, that, we need to do what we might have to do by raising prices. But, raising a little bit here and then a little bit here, that really adds up for people. So, that's just some thoughts, but in short, it's going to be Casella next year with, what they're going to ask for an increase, and that's a true unknown.
Could you, one more time, indicate how many users were down and the number of bag tags again, please, from,
Number of users last year was 594,
right?
590 last year, 564 this year.
And the bag tags?
There were 77 additional permits last year. There were 89 this year, or replacements. Bag tags last year were 12,895, and this year were 7,690. And I'll state this, that when we discuss with people who use the facility, who I interview and ask in terms of how to improve it, what are their feedback, et cetera, the biggest exposure we have up there is the fact that when you're throwing trash into the compactor, there's a pretty big opportunity for a person to throw a bag in the compactor without the bag tag on there.
Without a doubt.
We've also heard, just speaking frankly, we've also heard anecdotal evidence that people have tried to manipulate the bag tag by cutting it in half and getting two out of it. It's $1.60, and if we're not able to recover the cost from the user fees, then that burden is passed off on the entire taxpayers of the town who may not use the facility. So we've discussed, I've gotten some feedback about a second transfer station attendant. We would love to have a second attendant up there. They could do parking control, they can monitor, they can help people better, but you see what the costs are, and that's a part-time per diem person at $11,000. That would increase the cost to $22,000 for two people up there. And I should note that when that transfer station attendant is not there, that duty falls to the Department of Public Works, and we cannot guarantee who from DPW will take that overtime assignment, and that's a higher rate of pay. So we'd love to have two people up there. I think it would make the place run better, but there is a cost associated with that, and if we're trying to keep it as cost-effective as possible, it's a trade-off now that we have to do.
And one question for information, Thursday nights are now open for those with memberships to be able to go up there and use it, right? Okay,
I think we started that May 15th,
okay.
week of May 15th, maybe?
Okay, do we have a motion from the board? Or any more discussion?
I do have a suggestion that I know that we ask people to go online for the contact information and hours of operation, but maybe on the permit, we can state the hours of operation, but put a note like to always, check. But not everybody might have access to internet. And I will also just note, I liked the thought process of including some additional sheets of bag tags with the permit this year and not just going up on the fee and leaving it the way it was. So I appreciate the creative thinking there with Chrissy and Kelly.
There's no change in the style of permit or anything like that this year. I will say that Kelly and I have chatted about if the bag tags continue to drop and we see a revenue drop there, our option is to go to the North Adams style, which is the bags. But there is an additional cost to those bags.
Yep.
And residents would have to buy the bags, and then that way there, it's very easily visible to see
Right.
that they're throwing in an authorized bag. With this system, it's really up to only 33 gallons you're supposed to use. We don't really enforce that. It's a compactor. Frankly, our removal costs are less on the solid waste side because we have a compactor. They're higher on the recycling side because it's very hard to compact that. Linda in Northern Berkshire Solid Waste Management District has recommended a compactor for paper. However, there's a capital cost associated with buying that equipment. But that's something for the Solid Waste District to give us some figures and numbers on and take a look at it and see how much cost savings we would get if we invested in that type of equipment. We also would have an electrical feed issue up there as well, I would assume, if we did that.
I'd just like to say, I ran into Linda in the market, and she went to the recycling place in upstate New York. I really wish I could have went with her, but I didn't hear of it until the day she was going. But she said she was very impressed with that facility. I would have loved to seen it.
I think I wasn't able to go, and I didn't know about it either, so I'd like to see it myself. We should try to maybe arrange another tour at some point.
Yep.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
I don't know if it's my pleasure, but I will make a motion to set the fiscal year 2025 transfer station fees for a user permit at $125 that would include 3 sheets of bag tags with the purchase of the permit equaling 15 tags. I will further state that there would be no change to the replacement permit, that would remain at $10, and keeping additional permits per vehicle from the same household at $10 as well. And keeping the bag tags at $1.60 each, or for a sheet of 5, it would be $8 per sheet. Bree, do you have all of that?
We have a motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I hate to do it, but I'm going to second it because I think we'll know by next year, once this contract comes up, whether we can continue to run this in a manner where it's going to be feasible, or so I'm going to second that.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous decision? Or we're all set? Okay. All right, that is it for new business. Next is executive session. The only business that will be conducted after executive session will be to adjourn. Do we have a motion to go into executive session in regards to what's on the agenda this evening?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for Mass General Law, Section 30A, I'm sorry, Master Law 30A, Section 21, reason number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. And it would be for the Department of Public Works contract negotiation update.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe, this is a roll call vote. Joe?
Yes.
Ann?
I'll abstain.
Christine?
Yes.
And John is yes. We'll take a 3-minute break.